Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Hey, welcome everybody to The Grind. I'm your co-host, Terrell Williams. Along with me, we've got Saba Costas, and today we're going to be talking with Coach Bentley. Coach Bentley, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you tonight, Terrell?
Doing great, doing great. Getting. I swear I've been here for a long time now, and I'm still not used to this cool, cold weather. I just can't get used to it. So, um, how's things
Me
going?
neither. It's going well. It's going well.
Good.
I'm the same as you. I'm a little bit dreading cold weather, but that's the great thing about wrestling is it's always indoors, so the temperature's always the same. Uh, but no, I'm excited. This is competition week. We've waited a long time since U23s and back in June, and our guys have put in a lot of work in the off season and this preseason, and we're itching to get back on the mat on Friday night in Raleigh and get this season kicked off.
Awesome. So last week we had Inter Squad. I would probably want to keep, some of that stuff to people that were able to see that, but talk about just some general things that you saw out of the, freshmen, some of your upperclassmen, what you like, what's some things that we can improve upon before we get to Friday.
Okay. Yeah. First, I'm going to start with the things that I was happy with. I thought a lot of our upperclassmen really looked sharp and actually looked like they handled the first weight cut better than I maybe expected. And that's essentially what this those inter squad matches were about, was simulating competition. We were a week out from NC State, wanted to get our guys down to flat weight one time, simulate competition, have them go through their routine, their weight cut, their warm up. And I thought our upperclassmen actually did a really good job of managing their weight for the first time down. And most of them, looked pretty sharp and wrestled some hard matches. I thought, our returning two-time All-American, Jonathan Milner, I thought he looked really good, really sharp for this early in the season. I mean, honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen him look quite this good in November. Usually he kind of has to wrestle his way into, top form, and so he's really improved a lot in all season. So I was happy there. And then the other thing that I think was really pretty encouraging is I think we got a lot of the competition at a lot of weights is getting better. We got a lot more depth than we've ever had, and there's a lot of good guys that are pushing for that starting spot, and I mean, we may not necessarily have our starting lineup figured out for maybe another month. So that's exciting that we're getting a lot of competitive matches. I mean, even you saw some of those young guys pushing some of our upperclassmen, and I think that's the kind of depth that we're trying to build in this wrestling room. And so I was happy with those couple of things. One of the things that I did identify that's we need a little bit of work on, especially with our young guys, was their pre-match routine. And that was kind of one of the things that we identified. And again, that's why we had those inter squad matches, is to simulate competition, kind of see how they handled the weight cut, the warm up, their post match or post weigh in recovery. And I noticed that a lot of those young guys, their first match, they were very sluggish. And, that tells me that we got to go back and talk to them about their warm up, post weigh in recovery, and making sure they get a good warm up and a good blowout before they step out on the mat. So they get all that, that sluggish energy out of them. And, that's something that you don't really have to do a lot in high school, because a lot of these young men are so much more talented than the competition they're wrestling week in and week out on a high school schedule, that it doesn't really matter how they feel for maybe their first couple matches, or later in a tournament before they're going to be pushed. And that's a little bit different at this level. I mean, their first match out of the gate, whether it's a dual meet or a tournament, it's going to be really tough, and they got to be ready to battle. And so we learned that, and I think hopefully got some good reps in, and hopefully the guys will feel even better and a little more prepared and comfortable with their routines this weekend at NC State and at the Southeast Open in Roanoke.
That's a great point that you made, just about the pre-workouts, and it really kind of sets the tone for how you wrestle for the day. So, doing things the right way and, managing your weight and even getting that. I remember when I was under you, it was just like, all right, you got to make sure you got to get a good warm up. You should be drenched in sweat just to make sure you're good, loose, and ready to go. So that's always a great and important thing. So moving away from that, going towards this week, talk to us about off season. There was a lot more grinding, right, and getting your guys ready. So talk about the preparation that you and your coaching staff take to make sure that the team is ready going into competition and moving forward.
Well, I think the first thing is getting buy-in from the team, and I think we've got the strongest team culture that we've ever had here at Appalachian State. I mean, our guys are bought into the reality that if we're going to be a top 10 team in the country, we have to be we have to put a lot of time in. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and you can't. There is no off season. I mean, it's a year-round commitment to development and to getting better and pushing ourselves and finding and seeking out competition. And our guys really did that well this summer. I mean, we had a great U23 performance, probably the best that we've ever had, in the history of that tournament. And I think that was an indication of kind of where our guys were and the commitment they've made to training this past summer. And then just kind of seeing the development of some of our returners and how they've improved on some of the weaknesses that were really glaring weaknesses for them last year. I've already seen a ton of improvement in those. We've got a great balance in this team of veterans and youth, and so we're going to rely heavily on those veterans and those upperclassmen to kind of guide those young guys that are going to be in our lineup and kind of help them feel comfortable and be able to step out and perform to where we don't miss a beat. And the goal is that we're going to be competing for conference championships and NCAA qualifying berths and All-American slots at 10 weight classes. That's the goal. We don't want to have any weak weight classes. And I think we're starting to build that depth, and we're starting to kind of get the competition we need in the room to elevate the starter to where we're competitive in all 10 weights. And so that's been really important for our guys to commit to being here training and developing and committing to the process, because if we're going to be a top 10 team, it requires a extreme amount of sacrifice.
Right. Yeah. And it sounds like the RTC is really coming to fruition. And I know that in the newsletter and some of the emails, there's a place that people can go and donate to help support the off season with the RTC and keep things going in the off season. And so if you're at home and you're wanting to help out in the off season, donate to the regional training center.
Yeah, and honestly, Sava, that kind of gives me an opportunity to give a good plug in for that RTC, and I think I might have mentioned it last week, but if I didn't, we now have a director of operations position here at Appalachian State for the first time in the history of the wrestling program. We had a generous donor, Mark Barker, step up and fund that position for the next 5 years, and Stephanie Costas is our director of operations now. She started 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she's going to be a tremendous asset to growing this program and doing the added things that we need to do to be a top 10 team. And so if you're out there listening and maybe you're not currently donating to Appalachian Wrestling, and if you want to give, but you want to make sure that if you're not currently giving and you want to give to a certain part of the program that it's going to go directly to benefit App State Wrestling, the Boone RTC is a great resource. We have a nonprofit, so all the donations are tax deductible. And if you're not sure how to give to the RTC, we'll be getting more information out. But reach out to me. You can find my email on the athletics website, or you can reach out to Stephanie Costas, our director of operations. And either one of us can kind of point you in the direction of how to give to the RTC. But it's going to be tremendous. It's going to add coaches. It's going to add workout partners and training partners. And it's going to allow us to do some things that those top 10 programs are doing that quite frankly, we're going to have to do that if we want to be a top 10 team.
Exactly. Um, we'll look ahead towards NC State again. I know Coach Papalizio, when I was in college, he was up at Binghamton College. We were up at Northeast Duels, and I remember facing him. What do you expect out of him this weekend to bring to the plate as far as his team? And I know you guys have a history going back, I guess, from the beginning of your coaching career as well.
Yeah, I mean, Pat's done a good job at NC State. You can see, that NC State's become a wrestling school. I mean, they are every year in the hunt for a trophy at the NCAA championships, and he's done a tremendous job building that program. And it all starts with recruiting. I mean, they have landed some of the top recruiting classes nationally for the last 6 or 7 years. And so if you look up and down their lineup, Friday night we're going to be wrestling guys that were probably ranked number 1 or number 2 in their weight class in coming out of high school at pretty much every weight. And so, we know that as far as just the 4 and 5 star recruits, they got more of them than we do. But I'm really I feel really confident in my guys. Some of our guys were not 5 star recruits, but I'm telling you, they have developed into being an All-American candidate at this level. And sometimes,
Yeah.
that 4 and 5 star recruit stuff, like it's just really hard to, it's really hard to, measure what someone's heart and determination is like, and you get them in a program like ours that we develop our student athletes, and they have tremendous pride in this program, and they buy into our process. I think that we've got a great team. I think it's going to be a great match, and I expect them to come out with swinging, because they know that we've got a good team. I mean, I don't think there's any secret. Coach Papalizio knows that we've got a team that can wrestle with anybody in the country, and I guarantee they're not going to take us lightly. So I'm sure he's probably given his guys a lot of motivation this week and trying to give them a lot of bulletin board material to get them fired up and to be ready to wrestle on Friday night, because he knows what's at stake. I mean, it's a big match, an in-state rivalry, and it's I look at it as a great challenge for our program. I mean, I look for our guys to go down there and fight in all 10 weight classes, and hopefully, as it gets later in the match, we get to that 9th and 10th match, we've got a chance to win the duel. That's our goal, and I'm sure that he's going to have his troops ready for battle, and we're all going to have to step it out on the line and find out, kind of who's ready and who wants it more.
Right. Yeah, and going back to the development of the wrestlers and things you've had to do, because we've not had a lot of the resources some of these bigger schools have. And I think I can speak for Terrell and some of the other in-state kids that I am the most proud of the way you and Appalachian State has been able to develop in-state kids and be able to compete with these big programs. And my hat's off to you there. And as an alumni, it's one of the, I guess, best things to see is an NC State, I mean, not NC State, in-state wrestler do well at the college level and the development that you put them through. So we do appreciate seeing that. Well, I guess that'll kind of end our portion with you, Coach Bentley. And I know me and Terrell, we're going to stick around and talk a little more about the schedule and our thoughts on the NC State duel. And actually, before I do sign off with you, I do want to talk about the Southeast Open. That's Saturday. What teams do you think will be able to compete with there?
Yeah, so we got a lot of moving parts for our program this weekend. I mean, we're going to have pretty much 30 guys that are going to be competing on Friday and Saturday. We've got 15 guys that will be going to the Southeast Open on Friday afternoon. They're going to be riding up with Coach Patterson. He's going to go ahead and take them up to Roanoke, get them checked in the hotel, get them ready to compete. And then we're taking 17 guys with us to Raleigh to wrestle NC State. Of those 17 guys, 10 of them are going to ride with me from Raleigh to Roanoke after the duel on Friday night. And a good portion of those guys are going to wrestle in the Southeast Open on Saturday as well. So it's a lot of moving parts. We got coaches all over the place. And then Coach Diabe, Coach Miller are going to come back on the bus Friday night from state, and then they're going to be in vans early on Saturday morning to bring up to come on up and coach the guys on Saturday. So a lot of moving parts. I did speak with Coach Roby tonight at Virginia Tech, and it looks like some of the schools we're going to see. We're going to see Columbia is going to be coming down from New York. A lot of the the P5s locally, Carolina, West Virginia, Virginia, Virginia Tech, they're all going to be there. It looks like George Mason and a lot of those teams in that Southwest Virginia and Northern Virginia areas are going to be there as well. So, I think our guys will get a lot of challenges, and a lot of our young guys will get matches. And so, it's going to be a great event there in Roanoke on Saturday. You still there, so?
Coach, I think we lost him there for a minute. I'm not sure what happened with the guest feed, but I've got you here. Coach, what's the outlook for the guys that you're taking up there from Friday
Hey, Coach,
to
are you
Saturday?
still able to hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now, too.
Terrell, you're back. Did you make it back, Terrell and Sava?
Okay. To answer your question, Jeremy, what we're looking at is, I think, the guys that we're really trying to get matches, a lot of our young guys will be wrestling on Saturday at the Southeast Open. I mean, like I mentioned, we're going to take some of the guys that we're going to Raleigh to weigh in. But a lot of our veterans probably won't be wrestling on Saturday. You won't see them at the Southeast Open. But some of our younger starters or potential starters, we probably will take them to Southeast Open in Roanoke and get them some matches on Saturday. So, it's just kind of more trying to see where we're at, trying to figure out this youth and these young guys, and get them plenty of reps, and kind of seeing which ones might fit in our lineup this year.
Awesome. And for the fans at home, can you hear me, Coach Bentley?
Yep.
I know we had some technical difficulties. For the guys that are wrestling Friday night and then Saturday, there's usually an allowance for weight, and that'll give you another, I guess, scenario of going back to back with weigh-ins. Are they going to give you guys any poundage for that following day?
Yeah. So it'll be plus one at Southeast Open on Saturday.
And then, Jeremy, I know that Terrell is having some technical difficulties. I don't know if you want to try to fix that. I'm sorry to interrupt. But I guess looking forward, Coach, is there anything else you think we need to talk about as far as NC State Dual, Southeast Open?
No, I think we covered it all. I'm just looking forward to this weekend and some great wrestling, and looking forward to our guys putting it on the line. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time tonight, and we'll see you guys in Raleigh on Friday night.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time. All right. Good night. Hey, Jeremy. Terrell.
I don't think Terrell made it back.
All right, we'll get better at this stuff, guys. We do apologize.
Yeah, it's part of the challenge when you try to do several people on remotely at once, but we'll certainly get it there. Looks like Terrell's back now.
Looking like a DJ. Look at him going. All right.
Did we lose JohnMark too?
We signed off. We went ahead. I asked him if he had anything else to talk about. So It's just me and you. If you want to jump in, we'll talk about the rest of the schedule and what kind of excites you coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, so let's go back to that NC State match. We've got some notable weight classes. I know, we've got 25 out the gate. Seems like it might be a good one. You got two guys potentially ranked. That should be a pretty fun one. What else you thinking there?
Yeah, even 33, 49, 57. Those guys are all preseason ranked, so it's going to be heads up against, I'm actually, excuse me about the 149. They don't have a ranked wrestler, but there's several weights we match up, and it's just going to have to go our way. I know we've put in the hard work, and if we can get that momentum, I feel like Terrell going, and I know that's a hostile arena. I've been to NC State. I've wrestled in that arena, and I'm sure you have as well. So if we can get the momentum going our way, and things will turn out for the best.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I know they're ranked at 84, 97, and 285, and at 141, where we're not, and no one's ranked at 74, but they're ranked in those four weights where we are not, and so we're going to need some guys to step up and really prove themselves in those weights. I feel like.
Yeah, that was just the same point I was going to make is, you see that we're going to have some pretty tight matches going from our lightweights up to our middleweights. And again, kind of like what happened last year, it's really going to depend on, at the end of the day, wrestling's wrestling, but that first match, will they draw seed or will
I,
they?
if I don't miss my guess, they'll draw. I think in conference matches you have to start at 25, but I'm pretty sure you have the option to draw on all the other duels.
Okay.
And I
So
could
then
be
that,
wrong. I could be
yeah,
wrong. Even conference duels, maybe you don't have to start at 25, but
okay.
as long as the coaches agree, I guess.
Yeah. So then
I
that
think
being
they'll draw.
said, okay, if they draw, then right, then that could be a momentum swing because, I think we're gonna have some. I'm gonna put this lightly. We're gonna have some challenges in the upper weights, right? And so if the momentum swings in that direction, it can go either way, right? Because wrestling's wrestling, and you're a hip motion away from winning a
Yeah,
match. So
true.
so in
True.
an upper weight match, maybe we get that momentum and we can keep it going. So it's gonna depend on, I think, the first match and them setting the tone, but then also, where do we start? Because again, if we can start, I guess really it's just whoever's that first person is going to be. If they can set the tone, go out there in a hostile crowd and get some stuff going, yeah, it's gonna be a fun day.
Yeah, if I had the option, I would just start at 25. Caleb Smith, he's a firecracker. I love watching him wrestle. I think he can set the
Yeah.
tone. And I think last year against NC State, we started at 125 and set the tone, but I could be wrong. My
No, you're
memory's
right. You're
fading.
spot on. Nope, that's exactly what happened.
But
So,
if we draw,
uh,
if we draw and start at, say, 74, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 weights, we're going through where we're going to have to really battle and really build on some momentum. And I feel like it'd be easier to do from 125 on.
I got you. I got you. And so, JohnMark's gone now, but he can still hear us. Um, that's crazy about the NC State, right? And then the group of guys going to Southeast along
Yeah,
with the assistant, and then some guys going from the NC State to meet up for the Southeast Open. That's
yeah.
crazy. You talking about a great opportunity and good commitment early up for just competition, but ooh, that's gonna be a whole lot of fun, and especially if they're new. I hear there's, I need to touch up on my rules too, but I know there's some rules around like freshmen in terms of if they plan on redshirting, like how many matches they can wrestle. But if I'm someone that's getting into it and I'm trying to, start, this is kind of a good experience for them to get to, break away if I'm younger, to get into the mindset of, okay, this is much different from high school, and again, the competition is going to be tough. It's always going to be tough. So that's going to
Yeah,
be, it's going to be
every
good to run.
college match, you're potentially wrestling a 2, 3 time state champ.
Yeah.
There's no easy matches. You know that.
Yeah. And the more dangerous ones are the ones that haven't won anything.
Yeah.
They're the more
Well,
dangerous
that's
ones.
me.
So,
I was never a state champ, but I can hip toss, I guess.
yeah. So, no, that's awesome. And so then after that, we've got the Mountaineer Invitational. Now, this was something that I never had the privilege of being able to compete in, but you were able to, Saba, correct?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think we didn't have a dual tournament per se when I was in school. We had like a try meet, I remember, where Buffalo came down.
Mhm.
Um, Gardner Webb might have been in town. Um, there were a few schools there. It's like a try or a quad, but now I believe there's several teams
Okay.
there. I I don't remember. Um, and then we got Keystone. I know both of us had wrestled at Keystone.
Yeah,
at the
great,
UPenn.
tournament. Yep.
Yeah, great opportunity to wrestle some Ivy League type schools, Brown or UPenn, and then I think UPenn's Ivy, but I didn't go there, so I don't know. Get a good chance, get a Philly cheesesteak while you're there, right?
Just make sure you don't go to the if you're listening, you plan on going to Keystone. I know when I was in school, we were like at it was like a random strip mall that was right by UPenn. Don't go to that one. Apparently that's not a real cheesesteak. That's like we just put some stuff together and we know people out of town eat this. It's not good. And I even messed up further because I had a chicken Philly. I didn't even have the actual Philly. And who knows when I ever go back. So lost opportunity there.
Yeah. And speaking of Phillies, I believe the World Series is on tonight. Let's see. Let's check some scores real quick. The Phillies are up 4-0, top of the fifth. We're all over the place tonight. I love it. But, all right,
Oh,
leaving Philadelphia and the Phillies, we're headed to Las Vegas, one of my favorite places. I'm still undecided if I want to go or not. I've heard through the grapevine. Ian Miller told me, he's like, if you pick any other tournament, the NCAA tournament's the best. The next best is the Cliff Keen duels, or not duels, invitational. Yeah, so it's really tempting to want to go, but I
yeah.
don't know if I'll be able to swing that one.
And this is a good tournament early on because if you think about the competition that they've seen so far. I mean, they've had some good, around the area competition, but that Cliff Keen allows them to see people that they usually don't see. And
Yeah.
honestly, if I look down the schedule, they might not see again. So it's really helpful because, and
Yeah.
I think this is a great tournament because, it's almost like high school where you kind of get trapped in your own bubble. And a tournament like that helps you to pop that bubble and just see what's out there. Not to say that the competition isn't great in the area, but again, it's different, right? And especially when we look towards NCAA's, you got to have a good roundabout sort of exposure to the competition that's around the country.
Yeah. I know Cornell's going to be there, so that 149 potential matchup really has my insides like happy.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be great for him.
Yeah, Yanni, yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Then the first home duels, December 20th. We skipped over UNC, in-state foe, but first home duels, December 20th. Looks like uh, a tri-meet, I would say. I'm sure Bellarmine and Queens will wrestle each other. I don't know, but
Yeah.
then of course the scuffle that used to be at UNCG. Then it moved to Chattanooga. I don't want to say that word, but not a fan of the scuffle in Chattanooga. But nevertheless, great tournament. Like you said, a lot of great schools from the East Coast come to it, even West Coast. I know Penn State's been there in the past. Great competition.
Yep. Then they go, it's Binghamton at home, which is
Yeah.
great. And then after that, it's Virginia Tech. So couple good tournaments there, or a couple good, excuse me, duels there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm going to look on the calendar while you're speaking because that's probably going to be a packed house against Virginia Tech. They better bring in some extra bleachers, I tell you.
that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a really good
Yeah.
one. We might not be able to talk that much there. We might have to keep it really minimal.
Yeah, so let's see. The 13th, that is a Friday night. So yeah, that's going to be jam-packed.
Oh man, Friday night.
The 13th.
Ugh, ugh. Yeah, I'm getting old, so that's all I'll say.
Friday the 13th.
Um, so then we've got VMI. We're going to VMI. Beautiful
Don't forget
school.
about the Citadel.
Oh, sorry. Yep, the Citadel too. Going
You're
to Citadel
skipping
as
over the
well.
military schools.
Both beautiful schools, great competition. We got a little. There's a new coach at Citadel too, right?
Yeah, I think Ryan LeBlanc's in his second year. He's assistant from here.
Yeah,
So he's got a little insider scoop there.
yeah,
I know that
yep.
program's on the rise, and he's doing great things there. January 24th, we're back home against Duke, another ACC school we'll get to face. And then the old Appalachian Open that Terrell has personally told me he's going to wrestle in.
I think I said I would wrestle if someone else would wrestle if they would make their weight class. I can
Oh,
make
I
mine.
no,
Can you make yours?
I would do 65 or 74.
No, no,
And
no.
if we
You
could get
said
donors, no, I'm not making 149. There's no way.
hey, that was the rules.
No,
I
that's
can go
not the
41.
rules. Well, any prop bets out there, if anybody wants to make donations, if Terrell wins a match, you donate so much money. If I win a match, and we'll give it all to App State Wrestling. Let's see.
Why don't you donate for us to lose the weight? That'd be more of the
Well, how
that'd
about
be
both? How about both?
that'd be tougher. I think the making weight would be tougher than trying to win a match. I think we could probably win one.
Like I said, I'd be going 65 or 74, probably 74. All right. So that was fun. Gardner Webb, Daniel Elliott's always got a great team. Coaches.
Then we have Campbell.
Well. Yeah.
Then we have Campbell.
Campbell. No, we don't have Campbell. You're thinking Chattanooga.
No, I was trying to skip. See, now I was trying to purposely skip Chattanooga.
Okay.
I was being funny. I was joking.
No, I get it. That's probably a Super Bowl Sunday weekend. It always falls that way, doesn't it?
Oh no, just Chattanooga. That's it. Just Chattanooga. That's it.
I know. I don't like saying the name. The C school. But anyway, I don't like the other C school either, which I believe we're in a try with them February 19th with Presbyterian and Davidson. So I think they finally
that should be a good day.
Yeah. And then SoCons are here in Boone. Love it. We have a great venue. Put on a great show for the finals. Great crowd. Yep. Let's see, March 4th. Is that a Saturday this year?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, so I expect a packed arena, and that would be fantastic. Because I know in years past,
it'll be some great wrestling.
Sunday, yeah. And then NCAA
and then
championships, 16th through the 18th. I know tickets were on sale today. I don't know if they're still on sale. If you want to head on over there and get your tickets if you plan to go. They are in Iowa, I believe. Tulsa this year. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, and that's the goal for all these guys. So,
I think Jeremy said he was going to fly us out there, Terrell, to do the show from Tulsa.
Well, if he can confirm that with silence, I think we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, sounds good. He said Vegas too, and some per diem. But it's been a great show. I'm sure it's getting late, and we've had a lot to talk about. I've really enjoyed it. We'll be back next Tuesday, 9:00. We'll recap NC State, the Southeast Open, and talk about maybe the next duel, the Mountaineer Invitational coming up after that. Anything else you got to say, Terrell? I want to say.
I think we're good. Again, just want to thank you for the people that are on donating and just thank you for watching us. So.
Yep, and it's a continued process of growth, just like wrestling. We're going to get better. We're going to keep practicing at it, and hopefully by the end of the season we'll have this thing figured out. But
we'll have me and you will have a shared space tune too.
Yeah, we might do these together. It's up to you. But we'll talk about that off the air. Anyway, Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are The Grind, everything App State Wrestling, and we'll see you next Tuesday, probably at 9:00. Have a good night.
We'll see y'all later.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.